the Appalachian Mountains, nestled amidst dense forests and far from the reach of civilization, there was a small, secluded village known as Ashwood. It was a place of quietude, where the few inhabitants led simple lives, far removed from the chaos of the modern world. The villagers were known for their odd traditions, one of which was a steadfast belief in the existence of a mysterious abyss hidden deep within the mountains. They referred to it as the Abyss of Whispers. Legends passed down through generations claim that this abyss was a gateway to the spirit world, where the souls of the departed found their way. As the tale went, the villagers would visit the abyss during a rare celestial event known as the Night of Falling Stars. It was said that on this night, the veil between the realms grew thin, and the whispers of the departed souls could be heard. The villagers believed that by listening to the voices from the abyss, they could communicate with their loved ones who had crossed over to the other side. One such night of falling stars was approaching, and the village was abuzz with anticipation. Among the villagers was a young woman named Eliza, who had recently lost her father. Her heart ached to hear his voice one more time, to feel his presence and know that he was at peace. The night arrived, and the villagers gathered at the entrance to the abyss, a foreboding cave that plunged into the mountain's depths. Eliza, clutching a locket that had once belonged to her father, joined them. The cave's entrance seemed to beckon with an eerie, otherworldly glow. As the first star fell from the heavens, the villagers entered the cave, their lanterns casting wavering shadows on the rocky walls. The path ahead was steep and treacherous, leading deeper into the abyss. The whispers of the villagers were hushed, their anticipation palpable. With each step, the air grew colder, and the atmosphere thicker. It was as if the very walls of the cave held the secrets of the spirits that resided within. Eliza's heart raced, a mixture of hope and apprehension filling her. Deep within the cave, the villagers reached a cavern bathed in a strange, ethereal light. At its center lay a massive, obsidian pool that seemed to absorb the starlight. The villagers gathered around the pool, their lanterns illuminating their anxious faces. And then, as if in response to their presence, the whispers began. Faint, disembodied voices filled the cavern, echoing off the walls. The villagers listened, tears in their eyes, as the voices of long-lost loved ones spoke to them from beyond. Eliza, too, felt her heart swell as she heard her father's voice. He whispered her name, his words carrying a warmth and reassurance she hadn't felt since his passing. In that moment, it was as if they were connected across the realms. But as the night progressed, the atmosphere in the cave began to change. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and some villagers claimed to hear voices other than those of their own loved ones. A feeling of unease settled over the group. Eliza's locket, which had felt warm against her chest, grew cold and heavy. She clutched it tighter, fearing that something had gone awry with the ritual. The voices that had once brought solace now sent shivers down her spine. Amidst the whispers, a haunting melody began to emanate from the pool's depths. The villagers recognized it as a mournful tune that had accompanied the deceased to the afterlife. But now, it held a dissonance, a sinister undercurrent. As the song continued, a sensation of being watched settled over them. The lanterns flickered, casting eerie, elongated shadows that seemed to dance on the cave walls. Eliza dared not look into the obsidian pool, for she feared what she might see. The whispers turned into a cacophony of anguish and despair. Villagers screamed in terror, unable to bear the torment of the voices that had once brought comfort. It was as if the abyss had turned malevolent, as if it hungered for more than just whispers. Amidst the chaos, Eliza felt a cold, skeletal hand clasp her shoulder. She turned to find herself face to face with a ghastly, shadowy figure, its hollow eyes devoid of warmth. It beckoned her to the obsidian pool. In that moment, she understood the true nature of the abyss. It was not a conduit to the afterlife, but a prison that held malevolent spirits. The villagers had unwittingly become offerings, their presence feeding the abyss's insatiable hunger. Eliza fled, her screams mixing with those of the other villagers as they made their desperate escape from the cave. The night of falling stars had turned into a night of terror, a night they would never forget. Years passed, and the village of Ashwood was abandoned, its secrets buried within the heart of the mountains. The abyss, hungry for more souls, remained hidden, waiting for the next unsuspecting visitors to unleash. The haunting of Blackwater House. Nestled deep within the dense, foreboding woods, Blackwater House stood as a dark sentinel, its imposing facade casting an eerie shadow over the land. For generations, the house had been plagued by stories of hauntings, curses, and unspeakable horrors. Those who dared to approach its decaying gates did so with trembling hearts and bated breath. As legend had it, Blackwater House had been built upon the ancient burial grounds of an indigenous tribe, a malevolent act that had invoked a curse upon all who dwelled within. The house's first occupants, the Blackwood family, had fallen victim to a series of unexplained tragedies, their bloodline plagued by misfortune. The last known heir, Victor Blackwood, had inherited the cursed estate. Desperate to break the family's ill fate, he called upon a renowned medium, Madame Serafina, to cleanse the house of its dark energies. As Madame Serafina arrived at Blackwater House, she felt an overwhelming sense of dread that seemed to emanate from the very earth itself. Her guides warned her of the ancient curse, cautioning her to proceed with the utmost care. Undeterred, Madame Serafina began her ritual within the house's dilapidated walls. She invoked protective spirits, lit incense, and chanted ancient incantations in an attempt to purify the space. For hours, she toiled, determined to free the Blackwood family from the curse that had haunted them for centuries. As night descended and the moon cast a pallid glow over the house, Madame Serafina's incantations reached their crescendo. It was at this moment that the spirits of Blackwater House, long trapped within the malevolent energy of the curse, began to stir. Spectral figures, twisted and tormented, emerged from the walls, their hollow eyes fixed upon Madame Serafina. They whispered chilling laments, recounting the horrors that had befallen them and their descendants. Madame Serafina pressed on, her determination unwavering. She knew that the cleansing ritual was their only hope of salvation. But as the spirits grew more agitated, their whispers turned into anguished wails, and the very foundation of the house seemed to shudder. With a final, desperate incantation, Madame Serafina channeled the energy of the spirits into a mystical vessel, a small, ornate box that would serve as their prison. As the last words left her lips, the house trembled violently, its time-worn walls cracking and groaning. The spirits, now captured within the box, shrieked in fury and despair, their malevolence seeping into Madame Serafina's very soul. She sealed the box with a powerful spell, casting it into the house's deep, labyrinthine cellar, which was rumored to be the epicenter of the curse. Madame Serafina emerged from the house, pale and shaken, her task complete. The curse upon the Blackwood family had been severed, but at a terrible cost. She had imprisoned the spirits of Blackwater House, and their cries would forever haunt her dreams. Years passed, and Blackwater House remained abandoned, its dark history a distant memory. But rumors persisted that the curse had not been fully extinguished, that the spirits within the box still yearned for release. A new family, the Whitmans, arrived at the house, unaware of its sinister past. They intended to restore the house to its former glory, but as they ventured into the labyrinthine cellar, they stumbled upon the ornate box. The moment the box was opened, the spirits were unleashed, their malevolence infecting the house once more. The Whitmans, like those before them, fell victim to a series of unexplained tragedies, their bloodline tainted by the curse of Blackwater House. And so, the dark legacy of Blackwater House continued, its story a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurked within its decaying walls, a testament to the enduring malevolence of the spirits that had been imprisoned within. The shadows in the mirror. In a sleepy, forgotten town nestled within a remote valley, a peculiar house stood as a testament to a bygone era. The Harrow House, as it was known, was a place of unrelenting darkness and despair. The house's history was shrouded in secrets, and the townsfolk spoke of it in hushed tones, their fear palpable. the Harrow house had remained uninhabited for generations, left to decay and crumble into a grotesque relic of the past. Its sinister reputation had driven away potential buyers, and few dared to approach its decrepit gates. One day, a man named Samuel, a researcher fascinated by the unexplained, arrived in the town. He had heard whispers about the Harrow house and its mysterious past, and he was determined to uncover the truth that lay hidden within its walls. With a satchel filled with equipment, Samuel ventured into the forsaken house, his footsteps echoing through the decrepit hallways. The air within was thick with a malevolent presence, and the walls bore the scars of unspeakable horrors. As Samuel delved deeper into the house, he discovered a room that seemed untouched by time. The walls of the room were lined with ornate, antique mirrors, each reflecting a different version of himself. Samuel marveled at the exquisite craftsmanship but could not shake the feeling that the mirrors held a secret of their own. As he approached the mirrors, he noticed something peculiar. In the reflections, the room appeared pristine and well-maintained, a stark contrast to the dilapidated state of the house. Curiosity consumed him, and he reached out to touch one of the mirrors. The moment his hand made contact, the reflection in the mirror shifted. Samuel watched in horror as the room behind him transformed into a chamber of torment and anguish. Shadowy figures writhed and contorted, their faces twisted in agony. Unearthly cries filled the air, and Samuel recoiled in terror. He quickly withdrew his hand, and the reflection returned to its original state. The room reverted to its pristine appearance, leaving Samuel bewildered and shaken. It was as if the mirrors held a portal to another realm, one filled with unspeakable suffering. Undeterred, Samuel continued his exploration, determined to unravel the mysteries of the Harrow house. As he ventured further, he encountered a door that had been sealed shut, its surface etched with cryptic symbols. The door seemed to beckon, and Samuel knew he had to unlock its secrets. With great effort, he deciphered the symbols and unsealed the door, revealing a hidden chamber within the house. The room was cloaked in darkness, its only source of light emanating from an ominous, ancient-looking lantern. As Samuel entered, he discovered a collection of diaries, each filled with disturbing accounts of the house's previous inhabitants. The writings spoke of malevolent apparitions, chilling visions, and a sinister presence that seemed to feed on the suffering of those who dwelled within. As he pored over the diaries, the lantern's light flickered and dimmed. Samuel could sense a looming dread, an awareness that the malevolent presence was awakening. Panic surged through him as he realized that he had unknowingly unleashed the darkness within the house. The shadows within the room began to writhe and coalesce, taking shape as an otherworldly entity. Its form was a grotesque amalgamation of tortured souls, its eyes hollow and vacant. It reached out toward Samuel, its touch like icy tendrils of despair. In a frenzied attempt to escape, Samuel fled the room, leaving the diaries and the lantern behind. He raced through the house, but the malevolent entity pursued him, its whispers of anguish and torment echoing through the corridors. Samuel finally reached the front door, his heart pounding with fear. With a surge of adrenaline, he burst out of the house, leaving the Harrow house behind. As he stumbled into the sunlight, he knew he had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. But the darkness of the Harrow house remained, a sinister enigma that defied explanation. Samuel's encounter with the malevolent presence would haunt him for the rest of his days, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurked within the shadows of the past. The Harrow house, its secrets still intact, would continue to cast its long, dark shadow over the town, a grim testament to the terrors that awaited those who dared to explore its depths.